Hey guys, welcome back to Wrangling Rutherfords. I trust that you all had a great Mother's Day, and today I thought I would show you my garden and take you around for a little garden tour. It's been about a month since I showed you the garden and its completion last time, and we had just had our last major frost, and I really haven't planted a whole lot yet, but I've planted a lot since then and a lot has changed, so I thought I'd take you around and show you everything.
Is this enough sweet William, or do you think I need some more?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. There's another flower that came from Kay that broke off.
Okay.
And I was going to put it in this bundle and hand it to Grandma.
All right, good job.
Mom, want to see me slide?
Sure, show me.
Say the number.
1, 2, 3, go! Woo! Good job. First, we'll go over check on the potatoes that I have growing in the grow bags here in the back of my yard. So these are the 5 bags of potatoes that I planted at the end of February, so about 2.5 months ago. And for the most part, they're doing okay. They actually got pretty damaged by the frost that we had over Easter, and I did not cover them like I should, and I learned my lesson, but for the most part, they have recovered, and I've just been mounding up more straw as they grow. Here's a little guy that's been slow to recover. And this one, a few died in here, so only half of it came back. And this one completely died. It just did not come back. But I was digging through here and I found a tiny baby potato. So, oh, there's another one. So things did grow before it died, so hopefully that means that the others will have, I think that's it, just those 2. Hopefully that means the others will have a pretty decent harvest come harvest time, so I'm excited about that. Here's the other ones, and so far they're looking pretty good. So I am gardening in 2 places. I have a small raised bed garden in my backyard with some various containers and grow bags. And then I also have a large 50 by 50 plot vegetable garden that I'm growing over at my parents' house, and that is my big no-dig garden. I am located in central South Carolina, and we are in growing zone 8A. So I thought today I'd start off by showing you my containers and raised beds here in my backyard, and then we'll end with taking you over to the big no-dig garden. Go have fun, buddy. Good job, Luke. Be careful. All right, so these are just some various containers that I'm attempting to grow some new things in this year. And these are my 2 raised beds on either side of my back deck. So in these containers, I have carrots, and these are 4 different types of carrots, and I've never successfully grown carrots before, but I'm pretty happy with the way these look so far. I think this darker colored one is the black nebula carrots, and I planted these back in January, I think, and I did not mark these. So one of them is ox heart, one of them is a orange carrot that I forgot the name, and then one of them is like a rainbow mix. So we'll see. It'll be a surprise when harvest time comes. This is just a pot that had mixed wildflower seeds sown in it last year that my daughter bought, just a pack of those mixed wildflower seeds, and everything grew in it and then died back for the frost, but this sweet William came back and it's been looking really good. She just picked a bouquet for Grandma for Mother's Day. And here I have some garlic that's actually been growing and looking pretty good. A little pot of chives there. And then this is a pot that I attempted to grow some transplanted beets in. I do have one tiny little baby beet. And I also stuck a few radish seeds in here, and this guy just bolted very quickly. This is a watermelon radish. So I think I might leave him just to see what the flowers and the seed pods and what the seeds look like, because I've never had radish go to seed before. So I just will leave him as an experiment. But the little beets that I planted, they really just have not grown. My beets just really have not grown well this spring. I'm not sure what the issue is, but I'm going to try to grow them again in the fall. hopefully I'll have some better success then. So this is kind of a hot mess bed, and I think I'm gonna pull everything out and replant it very soon here with some peppers and tomatoes. But this is kale and cabbage that just bolted and went to seed, and I was trying to be patient and let it complete the process and let these seed pods dry up so I could harvest the seeds, but they've fallen over and it looks kind of terrible, and I'm growing impatient. So I might just go ahead and rip those out. The rest of this is some various little cabbage seedlings that just never really grew. These are basically all radishes. Some of them are ready to harvest here. Like you can see this guy here. I have a few that are ready to harvest. Those are, well, let's look at them. This is a purple radish. It actually looks really nice. So I have a few ready to harvest, but a lot of these, like this one here, this one's trying to go to seed. A lot of these have grown good foliage, but never grew a root, an edible, you know, a plump root. And I think it's just time to pull those and just reset this whole bed. I have been happy about these snap peas though. These are sugar snap peas, and I've never grown peas before. And honestly, I was not expecting them to get quite this tall. So my trellis system was not quite adequate for them, and they fell over this morning and I had to pin them back. But I've been pleasantly surprised with how good these are. I've been coming out here with the kids and showing them the peas, and they have figured out which ones they can pick, and they really like them, and I do too. Let's see. Oh, there's another one. Are y'all being good?
Yep. Isaac is eating a cheese stick that I gave him.
Oh, a cheese stick?
Micah had two.
All right, good job. Play nice. So this is the other raised bed that I have. Here we have a bunch of lettuce that's just bolted and trying to go to seed. I have some various kale that's bolted, and I'm trying to be patient with it, but I think I've lost my patience. Here's some Ragged Jack kale that actually looks okay. So back here in this trellis are some June peas that a friend gave me, and they have just started flowering and making pods. So I'm anxious to see how those turn out. The rest here, I have some various little things, some spinach that really hasn't done a whole lot, some more cabbage that's bolted. This is a tiny little beet that has never grown. That's been planted there for a long time, and it was direct sown, and it just hasn't grown. I don't know what the deal is with the beets. And back here we have some various radishes, again trying to bolt and go to seed, and some more kale and spinach. And we might try to get one last little harvest off this spinach and then just pull it out and reset this whole bed. Now this is my favorite thing in our whole yard. It's this massive hydrangea that was here when we bought the house. Now this hydrangea usually gets loaded with blooms. As you can see, it's really starting to get its color in, and it's always been this kind of reddish purplish color. It's just beautiful. It's probably at least 7, maybe 8 feet tall, and it's just fills up this whole space. That window back there is actually my kitchen window where our table is, and I sit and drink my coffee every morning. And I really love looking out the window this time of year and seeing all the massive blooms when they're in full color. So it's got another week or two before it's at its peak, but it really is going to be pretty this season. This is an endless summer hydrangea that we planted here about 2 years ago. And so far it's done okay. Not nearly as big and luscious as that guy is, but still looking really nice, and it's more of a blue color. And then this little survivor here, this is a green limelight hydrangea, and we planted it at the same time as we did this endless summer. And this poor guy has been cut down multiple times and accidentally broken off by children, and it still keeps coming back. So that is why it's so far behind in size, but it does put out really lovely green blooms later on in the season. So over here at the side of the house, I pulled up a couple bushes that were used for landscaping and created a flower bed. And I planted some roses last, let's see, what was it? Actually, it was last Mother's Day. I planted 2 roses here. We've since added a third and a bunch of dahlia tubers, and I'm really happy with the way things are coming together. So this rose right here on this trellis, this is what I call Granny Bingham's rose. And this is one of the roses I planted last Mother's Day when I pulled the shrubbery out of this bed. What was a spider there? This is a transplant that came from a cutting that my mother-in-law took from a rose that grew in her mother's yard, which was Granny Bingham. So she was able to get that cutting to root and shared this plant with us, and it has grown very well. And I think it looks cute in that corner. This is some various iris that were here when we bought the house, and this is the new rose that we planted this spring. This is called Origold, and as you can see, when a first bloom starts, it's a really deep, pretty yellow color, and as they open, they kind of fade to this more creamy pink, but I think it's really pretty. This is a miniature rose that my dad gave me a couple years ago as a Valentine's Day present, and it has grown a lot since he gave it to me. I plugged in some various cosmos back here, and this whole bed is nothing but cosmos, dahlias, and a few zinnias. So all of my dahlias are still very small, and the cosmos are still very small. I started the cosmos and zinnias from seed, and the dahlias are just beginning to grow now. So I am hoping that as these things grow, they will just fill this bed up and it will be just covered in blooms this summer. This is some of the first cosmos that we've had, and I just really love the colors. That pink one, that's cool. This lighter pink one and this very dark, almost burgundy one are growing on the same exact plant. 2 colors on the same plant, that's crazy. So this is my front porch, and this is where I have the greenhouse that I used as a transition period for my seedlings that I had started indoor this year. Well, most of my seedlings are planted out in the big garden, in the big no-dig garden, and I have a few left over that I think I'm gonna plug in my raised beds that I just showed you when I pull out all of the cold weather stuff and replace it with warm weather stuff. So these are the few seedlings I have left over, just some various tomatoes and peppers, and they're starting to struggle a little bit, and they just really need to get in the ground. So I think I'm gonna do that this week. Actually, these really need some water, so I have to water those before I leave today. Just some various peppers, tomatoes, here's some basil. Oh, this is a sad little zinnia. We gotta get that guy some water. And I have some thyme and parsley and various basils. This is actually 2 little okras that never popped up. I had this whole tray planted in okras, and I transplanted most of them out into the big garden already, and I thought these were not going to grow, and they popped up here. I guess they were late to the party. Here is the greenhouse, what's left of it. There's not a whole lot in here. I just stuck some succulents that I had and a few snake plants, honestly, just to weigh it down so it wouldn't blow away in the wind. Anyway, I've been very happy with the greenhouse for the money that I spent on it, and it's served its purpose well, but I think we're done for the season and it's time to pack it up and put it away. So that'll be on this week's project list to do as well. I got this planter box for my railing here and put some sweet potato vines, and look at these dahlias. These are a little dwarf variety of dahlia that I bought, and I just think it's so pretty. Hey Ace, how you doing? Hey buddy. Alright, so that's pretty much everything that I have growing here currently in my own backyard, but now I'll take you over to the big no-dig garden.
I heard someone call me.
I didn't call you.
Who did?
I don't know. Are you gonna go play in the dirt pile?
Yeah.
Alright, you go play while I shoot my video, okay? Alright guys, we're back here at the no-dig garden, and a lot has changed since you saw it last. The first thing I wanted to show you is this mama right here. Happy Mother's Day, Guinea. So that guinea has been laying on those eggs for the last week, maybe 10 days. And so hopefully we'll have some baby guineas soon. But I do have guinea eggs in the incubator at home, so either way we're gonna get some baby guineas, but hopefully she can hatch some out on her own. Did you hurt your leg? You gonna be alright? Okay. Well, shake it off, you can do it. Alright, so this is our big no-dig garden. And It doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but there's a lot of things in the ground. We'll start over here on this side. This is our strawberry patch that we weeded and put some compost on a couple months ago, and it really has grown great. It's been doing really nicely. I actually added some straw just to cut down on the weeds that have been popping back up since we first weeded it, and I ran out of straw and we need to get some more. But I've been really happy with these. I can't believe how fast they've grown and how good they look. So I have 8 beds in this garden, and they are 3 feet by 46 feet long. And over here on the first one is tomatoes and peppers. I do have a few nasturtiums that I put here in the ground, and that little guy is really struggling. But these are some of my first nasturtium blooms. And hopefully these will perk up soon and turn more green. I'm not sure why that leaf is yellow, but they're hanging on and they're doing pretty good. These are my tomatoes. I have 30 tomatoes here, and this side are cherry tomatoes. So this is a red cherry. We have some few little marigolds that are starting to come up there. This is Heather's mystery tomato plant. This is some mystery seeds that a friend sent me that she says are her favorite cherry tomatoes. So I'm happy to see what those are going to turn into. I have some more little marigolds. Here's another one of her Heather's mystery tomatoes and Brad's atomic grape. And then we have some blueberries down here. I like plugging in marigolds between them all. Here is, let's see, what's this one? I forgot. This is a blueberry tomato. This is a Better Boy. We're already get some tiny little blossoms starting to form. And here we have a little Cherokee purple and a brandywine. Now this space right here I have intentionally left blank because I'm going to plant some glass gem ornamental corn in here. But I have other sweet corn, and I wanted to stagger the planting dates on those. This here is just another little bed that I planted several months ago. There's beets and kale and some cabbage and broccoli, and I don't know what the deal is. They're just not growing well. Like, they've been in the ground for months. They should be much larger by now. So I'm not sure what's going on with those. I think it's just one of those things that I have to try again in the fall. It's a little discouraging though. I mean, they're okay, but they really should be much larger by now. So these onions are the very first thing I planted in this garden. And you can see, like, this little guy starting to get the tiniest little bulb on him. But I feel like those should probably be bigger by now. I'm not sure. I've never grown onions before, but we'll see how they turn out. Hey, Luke. How you doing?
We don't know how, but apparently they're like brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers. So Luke was telling you about our 2 cats. We have Ric Flair and Randy Savage, and they live out here by the garden at our parents' place, and they always come greet us every time we're out here. All right, so on this road down here, I have these gladiolas. These are some purple gladiolas that my husband bought for me. And on this side, on that side of the trellis, I have 10 paste tomatoes, a Hungarian heart and Amish paste. And then on this side, I have some various dahlias that my mom gave me to plant. And we've had quite a few of them sprout up. But there's, you see right there, that hole in the middle. There's about 4 or 5 that did not come up. I think maybe they just got too damp and rotted in the soil. So I'm not sure what I'm going to put in this place here. Maybe some purple coneflowers that I have, or maybe just plug them in with zinnias and cosmos. I really like those, but I'm hoping to have just a row of tomatoes along this trellis and then a row of flowers on the other side. I think that will be really pretty. There's another nasturtium that's blooming. Pretty yellow orange there. And then this is some borage that I plugged in here. I heard those were really good for pollinators, so I wanted to see how those do. And this is a trellis that my husband helped me make for the cucamelons. This is just some bamboo poles and some trellis netting that we put together. And I transplanted these cucamelons out here. And I think they just have gone through a degree of transplant shock. They just seem to be really slow in recovering. That one's got some dead leaves on it. But I think they're gonna bounce back. I think they look good enough to bounce back. They're just really slow at the moment. I have a little ground cherry, a little Aunt Molly's ground cherry here. And then on this trellis is all of my hot peppers right here on this side, and on the other side are all my slicer tomatoes. In between, I've plugged in some different basils, and there's another nasturtium there, and then some random marigolds as well. But I have some poblano peppers, some Alma paprika peppers. There's another Alma, let's see, what's this one? A shishito pepper, several of those. And then down here I have some variegated fish peppers. These little holes weren't here before. I wonder if something is eating them. I need to look into that. And this is a started plant that I bought at the store. This is a early flame jalapeno pepper. A few other little nasturtiums that are just going through some transplant shock. But the tomatoes are looking good. I'm proud of those. This side over here, these are all of my sweet peppers on down this line. I have several different California Wonders, some sweet long peppers. Oh, here's some more of these little holes. What's going on there? Why are you looking so pitiful? Anyway, some more basil and nasturtium in between the peppers and tomatoes. So on this arched trellis is a cattle panel arched trellis. I have Chinese red noodle beans that have all popped up, and those are looking good. And here I have some yellow scallop squash that has come up. So along this row is all different various forms of squash, mostly yellow scallop, and then down here is black beauty zucchini. And wow, these look great compared to the yellow scallop. On down here on this arched trellis I have cucumbers. These are Boston pickling cucumbers. Is that right? Yeah, I'm sorry, Chicago pickling cucumbers. Those are looking all right. And then some little marigolds and another little dahlia I plugged in there. Here's another ground cherry, Aunt Molly's ground cherry. And then this is my potato patch. And it was looking just like my other potatoes that I have in the grow bags at home. It was looking really good. And then the frost came, and about, I guess, a third of them died off, and they just did not come back. So, but I have this end down here, and hopefully we'll at least have some potatoes. I learned with the potatoes that they do not withstand frost like I thought they would. I had read several different sources that said that potatoes would withstand a light frost, but they did not withstand my frost. So now I know for the future to either wait a little longer to plant those, or to cover them really good with either some sheets or frost fabric. So I was kind of sad to lose those, but we'll still have some potatoes, so hopefully the ones that are growing will do well. So these two rows right here leading onto the back side of those arch trellises, these two rows are going to be okra and sunflowers, and then another row of okra and sunflowers. On this side I've planted Alabama red okra, and on this side I've planted a row of heavy hitter okra, which is a version of Clemson spineless, and then Clemson spineless down on the end closer to that trellis. These were all seeds that I planted. Look at a little baby okra coming up. So we have a few that have popped up. This one has not come up yet. Oh, but look. This is a little tiny sunflower just beginning to pop up. Let's see. Have some more okra and a little teeny baby sunflower. This is some of the Clemson spineless okra, and I transplanted these and direct seeded the others because I wanted to see how they did in both scenarios. Little weed. So this is the arch trellis that has the Chicago pickling cucumber on it. And then this trellis on this side has a muncher cucumber. Now the muncher cucumber has just been really slow to get going. I started this one as a transplant at home, and it has just basically stunted. So I actually stuck another seed beside it, and this is the seed that I direct sowed. And so far, I think it's going to do better than the transplanted one. These are some seeds that I direct sowed because the transplant died. And pretty much same scenario here. The transplant one just shocked and didn't do well, but the seed I direct sowed did. So I think, oh, there's a bug. I think I've learned my lesson to always direct sow cucumbers from now on, or either make sure my transplant is a lot bigger and more established. So this is another blank spot that I have intentionally left blank, and I haven't decided what to put there yet. But this row here is all bush beans. These are my colorful bush beans, dragon tongue and purple burgundy. And this row over here are all my green bush beans. Oh, and I skipped the middle. I forgot this middle arch trellis here. This is Kajari melons. And this one melon, that one's growing good. So here's a Kajari melon here. There's some other little seeds that have popped up. And this one's struggling a little bit. Hopefully it'll pull through. So all of my beans are looking really nice. I'm excited about these. On the end of these rows, I planted some zinnias, and they took a little bit of damage from that late frost we had. But I think they're gonna come back well. Looks a little bloom trying to form there. This is another arch trellis that's gonna have Kentucky blue pole beans on it. Here's some more little zinnias. These actually took the most damage. I just might plug in some new seeds to see if we can get some more growing there. Those look pretty pitiful. And on this row, on this side of the arch trellis, is more squash. So this is white scallop squash that I direct seeded. And on down here, I have yellow crookneck squash, which is little, but doing well. It's coming along. A marigold. My daughter actually bought that marigold at the store. And here is a beautiful cosmos that's about to come alive. So this row is silver queen corn. And then I just planted this row a couple weeks ago, and it's just now starting to pop up. This is peaches and cream corn. So those are both sweet corn varieties. So I've heard varying things about growing corn in a small garden, growing different types of corn together. The things I have heard is that if you grow like an ornamental corn or a popcorn close to a sweet corn, that they will cross-pollinate and it will actually ruin the flavor and texture of both species of corn. One of the ways you can overcome that is by planting them very far apart, like several thousand yards apart, which I don't have the space to do that without it being a whole lot of work. Or the other option is to plant them at different times in the season so they come to maturity at different dates. That way they won't cross-pollinate between species because they'll be pollinating at different times. So I went ahead and planted my 2 sweet corn varieties now, and I'm going to wait probably about 2 or 3 more weeks and then plant my glass gem corn, since it is a dent variety or ornamental variety. And my hopes is that they won't cross-pollinate and that both species will come out looking like they should. So this is my first year growing corn like that, and based on the information I've read, I decided that was the best route for me to take. So hopefully it works out. What you doing, baby? Are you keeping me company? All right, so this is the angle from the back side of the garden. This is my silver queen corn, and this is the little peaches and cream corn that's just now starting to sprout up. And then this back row here, closest to the field, this is my watermelon patch. So I have several different watermelon varieties. It's okay, buddy. Here. Do you want to say hi? Can you say hello? Isaac's kind of puny today. He's had a fever off and on, and he's just being clingy and wants to be held. So I guess we'll hold him for the rest of this garden tour. You feel better now? Okay, good. All right, let's show him our plants. You ready? You ready to show off our garden? Okay, let's go. Okay, as I was trying to show you earlier, this is our watermelon patch on this bed. So I planted probably about 10 different watermelon seeds, all about 3.5 to 4 feet apart. And in between them, I planted mammoth sunflowers, which I'm excited about. Oh, look, we have some little watermelon babies here. That's actually a passion melon. And this is a mammoth sunflower seed that has just sprouted. This is a Hales cantaloupe, and this was an old package of seeds that I found. And I thought that because they were old, they wouldn't germinate as well, but all 3 of them came up. So we'll have to thin those out. But I have the cantaloupes. This is a passion melon. Some little sunflower babies. I'm excited to see that. More passion melon. Here we have a moon and stars. More moon and stars. Sunflower babies. Sugar baby. What's over here? More sugar baby. Hey, baby. This is a Georgia rattlesnake. Georgia rattlesnake and Charleston gray. Those are all looking good. And there's my sunflower. Anyway, so I got distracted by the baby. But this row here is sweet potato slips that I ordered from Urban Farmer. And a few of them are taking their time, but a few of them are doing well. And I just transplanted those about maybe 2 weeks ago. And that is some spaghetti squash seedlings here. Anyway, so that is the extent of the garden and what I have growing right now. Everything is very small still, but I see a lot of potential, and I'm glad that it's going well. I'm really glad about my tomatoes. That's the thing that I was really focused on, having good tomatoes, so those are making me happy. But the other things I need to troubleshoot, like those little holes in my peppers, I gotta figure that out. But I just wanted to share the garden with you and the status where it's at now, so that in a couple more weeks we can compare and see just how much it grows in 2 to 3 weeks, which I think will be a lot. So we got to get this little guy comforted. We will wrap this up for now and go home and have some dinner. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for spending time in the garden with me. Say thank you. Can you say bye-bye? All right, say bye-bye. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye. We'll see you next time.